No matter where you look right now, there's no escaping Andrew Tate. His face pops up on every other TikTok video, and YouTube is flooded with videos of him or reactions to him. Right now, he's being Googled more than Donald Trump, Kim Kardashian, and Johnny Depp, and everyone wants to know who he is and why he's become so famous. Tate has followed the formula perfectly. Establish yourself in some craft or discipline, flaunt your wealth and lavish lifestyle, and say whatever you want, whenever you want, all while the camera's rolling. There's no better way to build intrigue and envy in your audience. People will either love you or hate you, but either way, their eyes will be on you. And for every extra pair of eyes, it's another dollar in your bank account. But unlike McGregor and other controversial characters, Andrew Tate's path to riches is a much darker one. It comes with allegations of assaulting women, scamming innocent men, and running a pyramid scheme he calls Hustlers University. So how exactly did Andrew Tate get so rich and famous, and is there any truth to the accusations made against him? Andrew was the eldest of 3 children born to Emery Tate. Emery was a highly intelligent man who was gifted at chess. Having been taught to play as a child himself, Emery taught Andrew to play at a very young age. Andrew spent years studying theory with his father's guidance, and he developed a deep understanding of chess strategy. He competed against players more than twice his age and became state champion in Indiana at only 5 years old. At this point, his dad's career in the military had ended, so Emery was working minimum wage jobs to make ends meet. Even pulling together gas money to get to chess events was a struggle. When things reached breaking point, Emery's wife took the children and moved to a poor town in the heart of England called Luton. With a much smaller chess scene in the UK, Andrew decided to stop competing in chess and move on to something else. Despite this, the lessons he learned from the game in his formative years extended into the way he lived life going forward.
Chess applies perfectly to life. And if you look at a chessboard, you look at life and how you strategize and put things in place, a chessboard and life mimic each other perfectly. The king is you. The king can't die. If you die, the game's over. You cannot be trapped, you cannot die. Every single piece is disposable besides the king. And that's you.
Settling into the UK was tough for Andrew and his siblings. Due to their American accents, they were teased and bullied by the kids in their school. After a fight broke out between Andrew's brother Tristan and a school bully, their mum enrolled them into self-defense classes. It was here Andrew developed an interest in one-on-one combat. At the age of 17, he met his future coach Amir Subasic at the Storm Gym in Luton. He began training for kickboxing and quickly learnt he was a natural. Fighting filled a void in Andrew left behind from his days playing chess. As he grew, his frame filled out, and combined with his natural fighting ability, he quickly became a serious threat in the ring. Standing at 6'3" and 198 pounds, Tate's size and long limbs made him perfect for kickboxing. His career started in 2007, where he got off to a shaky start but recovered with 4 consecutive wins. This earned him a title bout against Paul Randall, who he beat by way of decision. He was awarded the ISKA Cruiserweight title for his victory. Just 5 months later, he won his second belt after knocking out Daniel Hughes, making him both the ISKA and IKF Cruiserweight champion. He continued to compete, knocking out Jean Benoit in 2011 to earn his first world title. Over the next few years, he would become a 4-time world champion. By 2016, he'd achieved an impressive record of 73 wins and 9 losses. But even after accomplishing so much, Andrew was left feeling unsatisfied. It seemed that the older he got, the greater his desire for fame and riches became, and kickboxing simply didn't provide enough of either.
I became 4-time world champion, and one day I woke up, and I literally just woke up. I looked at my bank, I had like 3 grand, 4 grand in there, and I'm like, I'm giving up my entire life, and I don't even know how I'm gonna live. I need to get rich. I want to get rich.
He had to accept that kickboxing wasn't going to get him where he wanted, so he began branching out into other things. This was when Andrew and his brother came up with the idea of starting a webcam business. Since he was taking flights all around the world during his kickboxing career, Andrew had 5 girlfriends in different locations. He had them fly over to meet him in London and sat them around a table. Until that point, the girls had no idea about each other, so tensions were through the roof. After Andrew proposed the idea that they work for him as cam girls, 3 of the girls walked out, so he had the 2 girls that stayed move in with him in his London apartment. They began camming as a duo, and the men started pouring in, but while they successfully attracted attention, they weren't saying the right things to keep the men around. They'd get on a cam show with an old man who'd ask, "So what do you look for in a guy?" And they'd say, "Oh, you know, someone that's young and rich with a good body." Andrew had a much better sense of what the men really wanted to hear, so he came up with a plan.
So what I did is I unplugged their keyboards and plugged a new one in from me behind the screen. So the chicks would sit there and hit a keyboard that wasn't plugged in, and me and my brother would do all the talking.
The girls were just pure, just famousers.
He would scam the men by telling them lies about the girls' lives, like medical emergencies, dying parents, evictions, you name it. Whatever it took to get them to pay the girls more. He'd string them along for weeks or even months without the girls ever meeting them. When the men got impatient, he'd have the girls agree to meet up, but demand money for the flight, accommodation, or even getting a visa, all with no intention of actually following through. After a while, the girls picked up on Andrew's tactics and began doing it themselves. At this stage, he was making 3 or 4 grand in a single day, so naturally Andrew decided to bring in more girls. The main criteria in his search was simple. He needed beautiful girls who weren't business-minded enough to start their own venture and so would be loyal to him and his business. Over the coming months, he grew his roster to a total of 75 girls, and he had 4 different premises they worked out of. This went on for a while, but Andrew eventually realized this was a big mistake.
75 women worked for me at the peak of it all. But that was a mistake, because when you have a bunch of girls working for you like that, the only way you can motivate them is with money. When I started, the girls worked for me because they loved me. But when you get too big, you can't have all these girls in love with you.
So they decided to cut down to 8 girls in total, 4 with Andrew and 4 with Tristan. They moved into one house together and got to work. The lies they told just got bigger and bigger, but the men were desperate, so they kept coming back. According to Andrew, this was when the business reached its peak, with a turnover of around $600,000 per month. During these years in the webcam business, Andrew still wasn't in the public eye, so while he was making more money than ever before, he hadn't gained the notoriety and fame he desired. So in 2016, he applied to join the cast of Big Brother, a reality TV show that was very popular in the UK. In the show, a group of contestants all live together in a house, isolated from the outside world. They're continuously monitored by live cameras, and they have microphones attached to them at all times. Throughout the course of the show, contestants are evicted from the house based on public votes, and the last remaining housemate wins a cash prize. However, in Tate's season, they added a special twist. They introduced a second house called The Other House, where contestants had to compete in challenges to gain entry to the main house. This is where they put Andrew. On day 4, Andrew was voted into the main house by the public, and he immediately began wreaking havoc. He told the group he'd been watching them from the other house, and that 8 of them were total snakes who spoke about the others behind their backs. This started an explosive argument, and several of the men in the house turned on him. Soon after this happened, it was announced that Andrew had been kicked off the show. This was just as a video surfaced in which Andrew could be seen beating a woman with a belt. Naturally, people assumed that this was why he was evicted, but Andrew claimed the video was edited to make it look like something it wasn't. He said, "They're pretending I beat her up when we were joking and the belt made a noise but didn't hurt. They cut all laughing. I have never hurt a girl in my life, and this is a total lie trying to make me look bad." Andrew claimed he was evicted for different reasons. He said that 4 of the men in the house were threatening to attack him, and being aware of his fighting background, producers pleaded with him to wait for security if a fight broke out.
So anyway, these 4 guys, it got to a point where they started threatening me. They said, "Look, Andrew, we need a guarantee from you in the event of a physical altercation that you'll wait for security." And I was like, no. The rules of the house are that no one attacks anyone. Because these 4 idiot men feel tough in their little gang, and now they think now you know there's going to be a fist fight. You're telling me to pull a Floyd Mayweather until security turns up. No, if anyone touches me, I'm going to smash their face in. So anyway, we got into a disagreement with the producer, and then eventually they just booted me out for some unknown reason.
So after just 7 days on the show, he was booted off. Days later, a statement was released by the woman in the video defending Andrew, saying his actions were in fact consensual, but by this point the damage was done. Following the scandal, various news articles were written about Tate, which prompted the initial growth in his social media following. Over the next couple of years, Andrew and his brother would invest much of the money they made from the cam business into cryptocurrency. This was initially just for convenience, as it was easier to make big payments through crypto than through their banks.
At the time, I didn't see it as an investment. I was in a world where the people I was dealing with took crypto. It was easier for me to take their crypto than to take big bank payments.
However, the move turned out to be very lucrative for them. They bought significant amounts of Bitcoin, which according to Tristan, doubled their net worth. Later in 2018, Andrew launched his YouTube channel, Tate Speech. The videos featured Andrew speaking on random topics ranging from plane turbulence to smartwatches. While the topics weren't particularly interesting, Tate's unfiltered comments and strong opinions kept you watching.
So I've been in real turbulence. And I hate when I tell people my story, my turbulence story, like, well, you know that air travel is the safest form of travel. Don't come at me with statistics, motherfucker. I know statistics. I know turbulence shouldn't crash a plane. Let me tell you something. Put your stupid ass sitting next to me, or we're bouncing all over the fucking place. The stewardesses are crying. The person next to you's praying. Every fucking baby and every child's screaming. And there's fucking food and drinks going everywhere. And you show me your calm ass face reciting fucking statistics. Fuck you.
One of the most important ways to discover if someone's a dickhead or not is if they wear a smartwatch. Smartwatches are bullshit. There is nothing you can do on a smartwatch faster than you can if you just pull your phone out your pocket and use your phone properly. Every time I've ever seen anyone try and do something on a smartwatch, I just sit there looking at them thinking, what kind of fucking materialistic, capitalistic moron are you?
It's easy to see that even back then he was the same guy he is today. With all the money he'd made from his cam business and crypto, it might seem strange that he started a YouTube channel where he was making pennies in comparison. But his intention was simple: build the public profile he'd long desired and drive viewers to his website to buy the slew of courses he had on offer. A fitness program, a course on how to get women, a course on body language, it was all there, perfectly tailored to the type of man his YouTube content was made to attract. And then came the War Room. The War Room is a members-only club that connects like-minded individuals around the world. On his website, Tate describes it as a global organization with members, bases, and influence in over 70 countries. The War Room was Tate's first big move in creating a community around his brand. Membership to the club was initially priced at £447, but with his recent surge in popularity, he's hiked the price up to an eye-watering £4,147. The promise is that by joining, you'll gain access to a powerful network that'll help you become free from the control of governments and the law. Whether this is true or not is up for debate, as you don't have to look very far to find people slamming the club and its usefulness. It's not entirely clear what exactly happens after joining, but what we do know is this: the group communicates over dozens of Telegram channels based on topics like legal documentation, hacking, and news leaks. They also hold members-only summits in every country of operation. With hundreds or possibly thousands of members in the club all being charged over £4,000 for entry, Tate's likely raked in millions from the War Room alone. But it's Andrew's next move that has been the single most lucrative to date: the launch of Hustlers University. Hustlers University is a program designed to teach students about modern wealth creation methods. The first iteration of the program contained 10 hours of video and course material for the hefty price of £1,099. But the description on his website focused very little on what actual value it provided, instead talking about how successful Andrew is and why you should listen to him. In 2021, he released the updated version of the course, Hustlers University 2.0. The new course contains 18 money-making methods covering e-commerce, cryptocurrency, stocks, and more. He substituted the fixed fee for a subscription model costing $50 a month and incorporated an affiliate marketing scheme into the program. This is where things get more interesting. Andrew had still been uploading content to his YouTube channel while building the War Room and Hustlers University, gaining a small but loyal following. But it was when he started appearing on podcasts that things really began to take off. In 2021, Andrew made his first appearance on the Fresh and Fit podcast. The video has racked up over 1 million views, and many of the most upvoted comments are quite complimentary of Tate. He went on to appear on Your Mum's House podcast with even more success, pulling in close to 3 million views to date. One thing was clear: whether people loved him or hated him, they were being entertained. Soon, clips of Tate started popping up all over TikTok and YouTube Shorts. But what was strange was the sheer volume of clips being posted. There were seemingly hundreds of accounts repackaging his videos and posting them like clockwork. And this is where Tate's plan really came into effect.
I put together a particular strategy about 6 months ago because I decided to step up my overall exposure because of a new product I launched. I run an online school that teaches people how to make money online. I changed my approach towards social media and I ended up absolutely everywhere.
As part of the affiliate program in Hustlers University, Tate guarantees a 10% split of revenue for any new signups a person brings in. Not bad if you can get lots of people to sign up and they stick around. So people began making pages dedicated to his content. Hundreds of pages consistently pumping out clips of Tate, accumulating millions of views. Then the same people reposting his content make YouTube videos talking about how Hustlers University really works, driving even more people over to the course.
Now, you've probably seen Tate clips online. When you see them, check to see if there's a description that has a referral link to his course. It's kind of like a little baby pyramid scheme because they have referral links and all these alpha males try to make a little bit of bread by getting their other lonely friends to hop on the trend so they can all get rich.
Non-affiliated YouTubers who have reviewed Hustlers University have said it consists of basic PowerPoint presentations with a random person's voiceover, adding that the information inside could easily be found for free online. But this hasn't stopped people signing up in droves. At this point, there are over 100,000 students subscribed to the course, all paying Andrew $50 a month. That's $5 million per month just from this one program. So really, it's no wonder he's flying on private jets and driving around in a Bugatti. With his explosion in popularity, every podcast host wants him on so they can get a piece of the pie. He recently appeared on the Fellas podcast, the BFFs podcast, and the Full Send podcast, all of which have massive followings. His episode on the Fellas podcast was their most successful ever, going to show the level of influence Andrew now has. And with every new podcast appearance he makes, the affiliates of Hustlers University create thousands of new clips to post on YouTube and TikTok. This then leads to hundreds if not thousands of new signups, and the cycle repeats, making Andrew richer and richer. Not only that, but his social media following has grown tremendously. In the past 3 months alone, he's gained over 3 million followers on Instagram, putting him at close to 4 million followers at the time this was recorded. So whether you agree with Tate's views or not, there's one thing that can't be disputed. He excels at what he does. He left his kickboxing career behind to pursue fame and riches, and with his cam business, online courses, and social media activity, he got everything he wanted and then some.